If you enter a larger volume of vendor invoices, you can run a function to search for invoices to pay to ensure that none are missed. System check runs generate payments for a list of vendor invoices or other unapplied transactions. To start processing, from the Payments menu, select System Checks, or click the Check Run button on the toolbar. There can be more than one check run in progress at a time, perhaps for different banks or printing methods. Each check run will have a status to indicate the level of completion. Different stages of check runs can be allowed or disallowed with security group settings for each user. Edit an existing run in progress, or click New to create a new check run. Select the bank for the payments, and enter a description to provide a reference for the payments. Enter the check date, which will be used for all checks. You can print checks for any or all vendors, or only checks with a total amount in a specified range. Choose invoices with the due date on or before a specified date. If any invoices have terms that allow for early payment discounts, enable the Take Discounts option to select invoices for payment, even if they are not yet due, and ignore discounts before to exclude invoices where the discount opportunity has passed. Transactions can be forced for selection through control payments. You can choose to pay only those that have the forced payment status. The Pre-Check Register report will generate a list of invoices to be paid, and also indicate if the transaction was selected because of the discount or the forced status. It will also indicate if a check will not be printed because the total check amount is outside a specified range. Vendors set to receive a separate check for each invoice will be indicated on the report. A second report, Payables Withheld, lists all vendor transactions that have been put on hold through control payments. The date and time of the Pre-Check Register report and the total amount of all payments will be displayed for reference. The Payments tab has two grids. The bottom shows the same list of selected transactions as the Pre-Check Register report, and the top has a summary by vendor, which can be sorted in various ways along with the transactions. You may change the actual payment amount applied to any transaction by editing the record on the grid and changing it to the desired amount, or even 0 to not pay the invoice. Right-click on the grid to set all transactions with payments cleared to 0, or apply full payments to all transactions. Or choose not to pay a specific set of invoices by multi-selecting them on the grid and pressing the spacebar. Or don't pay any invoices for one or more vendors by selecting them in the summary grid and press the spacebar. The Pre-Check Register report will then print what has been selected to pay or not pay, and optionally suppress all unpaid vendors, or vendors for which no check will be printed. Click the Generate button to refresh the transactions on the payment list. A total for the overall payment amount is at the bottom, and another total of just displayed transactions for selected vendors. And if Adagio Doc Store is integrated, you can view any PDFs attached to the highlighted invoice. Check runs can be saved at any time by clicking the OK button and return to later. Before checks are printed and posted, you may wish to require approval before this is allowed. A company profile option may be enabled to include an Approve button, which must be clicked before printing and posting is accessible, either from the main list or when editing a check run. When you are ready to print checks, click the Print Post button. You may choose to back up your data prior to starting. If a payment control was applied to an invoice after the payment list was finalized, a screen will appear indicating that total payments have changed and let you decide to continue with the print and post or not. Check numbers will be assigned based on the sequence defined for the bank. The default check specification can also be assigned from the bank. Click the Print button to start the process, printing checks to the specified printer in the specified sort order. After checks have printed, you need to indicate if there are any errors before continuing. If there was some sort of problem like a printer error, click No and indicate if any checks were correct. Those that failed will be voided. If you need some time to verify this, click the Park button to pause the check run so that you aren't blocking other users from doing processing. When you know the results, resume the check run and either indicate there were errors or click Yes if everything was successful. If Adagio Doc Store is integrated, a PDF of each payment will be generated and attached to the transactions. When all printing is complete, you can choose to print an additional form for each vendor. These forms are typically used for advice-only details, which can be emailed and faxed to the vendor, or print advices to plain paper or PDF to avoid wasting pre-printed stock when paying dozens of invoices. You may set a preferred advice method for each vendor and choose to create only those additional forms that match the selected output methods. When additional forms are all generated, continue from here to complete posting. The check register is an audit report for system checks. Posting also updates check reconciliation and a separate check number audit list report. Manage your cash outflow effectively by using an efficient system for check processing. Find out more about Adagio from the product page on our website. Watch another training video on this Adagio program from the playlist, or subscribe to the Adagio YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.